happy to report that we've already launched Building Code, which was launched in July of this year, 2024, but it was published on 1st of March, 2024. So in the implementation, how the implementation of the Building Code will be, this implementation will be spearheaded by National Construction Authority. As you see, that is the parent act where the Building Code is domiciled. And also it prescribes the roles and responsibilities of each of the stakeholders. I know from the request from CARA, the NCA, part of our presentation was also to include the responsibilities, who are the responsible parties in this Building Code. The purpose of the code, so the purpose of this code is to promote order and safety in the construction works and the health and safety of persons in and about construction works. I know in our country we've had challenges with regards to safety, with regards to health. And we also have the scope of the code in paragraph 4. And CEO had asked whether we've come across the Building Code. I'm not sure whether some of us we've gone through the Building Code itself as it is published. That Building Code is available in our website. If you log in to NCA website, you will be able to see the published Building Code. And also at the same time, you can also purchase it from the government printers. They also sell it. And also if you go to Kenya Law Reform, they also have any published laws, they are available in their website. So I want to take us through the paragraph 4 of it, which states the scope of the Building Code. It has so many items, so I hope I'll be able to just go through very fast. So the first of it is the standard for designs, construction, operation, inspection, and maintenance of the Building Code. It also covers the design on building materials, products, elements, systems, and building services, the standards on infrastructure services, the standard on operation and works at the construction sites. So it describes how construction sites is to be managed. Because we've seen most of the time when the construction is going on, there is a lot of mismanagement which interfere with the health and the safety of the users or even the people who are participating in the construction itself. It also describes the standard of disaster management at a construction site, standard of safety and security. And also this code, what is of importance is that this code shall not apply to the construction and maintenance of a single-story resident building. In this case, we were looking at vernacular buildings. You know, the upcountry, you find people that, will you also apply this code even in our traditional houses? So it is clear that the Building Code will not apply on this. Because some of these traditional houses, it is influenced by different cultures and also the tradition of the given area. So the Building Code will not apply in those. And also when it comes to the compliance, now compliance with the applicable law itself, it describes the penalties on it. A person who engages in construction works or a person who owns or occupies a building shall comply with this code. So that is the extent who is supposed to comply. It is the person who occupies, whereby we come in as the residents, so it also is specified on that. And a person who intends to undertake any construction works shall obtain, it comes to the requirements when you are executing this Building Code. So the expectation is that there must be development permissions, which is something which we have been doing, whereby we get approval from the county governments. And this is in accordance with the Physical and Land Use Planning Act 2019, so that is still applicable. The issues of environmental issues, the licenses which are given by NEMA, it will also be applicable, and also a compliance certificate issued in accordance with the Act and any other applicable approvals. So of course there are many approvals which are required, so it will still apply in this case. When it comes to the supervision, who will be expected to be supervising the construction works? So in the paragraph 6 of the code, it specifies that the preparation of the designs and supervision of works in a building shall only be undertaken by professionals in the respective field specification or specialization. And in this case, it goes ahead and specify who a professional is. And under subparagraph 1, it includes what is stated there. We have the physical planner, architect, engineers, land surveyors, building surveyors, quantity surveyors, accreditation, site supervisors, and accredited skilled construction workers. I want to believe that maybe after the launch of the building code, you may have seen this, where some professionals felt they were left out from the supervision of the works. But the reason is because we are talking about duly registered under the relevant laws. So you find that most of the professionals which are specified here, they have a regulatory body. And therefore, there is no one who is excluded, solely that it has to be within the law. And the next slide is on now the comparison from the old and the new code. I know the writing may not be very physical, but I try to go through, because we are asking ourselves, why this new building code? What is the difference from the old that we've been using? So I will very quickly go through them. And in the new building code, the difference with the old one is that it is flexible, since it is based on performance specification of design. You find that in the old code, when it comes to masonry work, like for example, you find we are describing and saying it must be 200 millimeter blue stone, Daruku stone, or thicker stone. So you wonder, somebody who is constructing in Coast or in the southern part of Kenya, where will he be required to go for a stone in thicker, for example? So that is why we are saying it is based on performance. So that in that locality, if there is a material which can work in lieu of that particular stone, it will be allowed to be used. So as long as it will perform that specific functions. And functional and performance criteria are the critical consideration when selecting designs, material, and construction techniques. So as long as you are able to prove that this design or this material will be functional to whatever design that we are coming up with, that material will be allowed. It also allows the revision for every 5 years. You noted that the old code for the last 56 years has never been reviewed. But in this particular code, there is a provision whereby it will be revised every 5 years. So once we implement and the stakeholders find that there is a need to revise, then there is a provision for that. Even the concerns which are currently being raised, at least there is a room for it, so that anything which is valid can be added and can be revised. The new regulation also are national and apply to all human settlement without discrimination. So it is not for a specific area, it cuts across. And also in this code also, the penalties for violation are high. There is a provision for 2 million and above, or 6 months imprisonment for any offense. But in the old code, the penalties was Kenya shilling 2,000. So if you violate and you are penalized 2,000, I think it's something you can just pay and move on. Yeah, but in this one, it is a bit punitive, so that it doesn't give room for non-compliance. And also offers deemed to satisfy solution and explanation notes, example of acceptance of materials, the issues of updated. In this case, it refers to the updated Kenyan standard and Eurocode. We are aware that currently we've already moved, not in all the structural elements, but some of it we are now using Eurocode, and it is included in this code. I want to go to citation and commencement. Also, in the new code, update the citation and commencement details reflecting recent legislation. On interpretation, also there is expanded definition. So you find that there is definition of every item which is covered in the building code. On the scope also, it is also expanded to including more types of construction and scenarios. When it comes to supervision of the works, also in this case, it is quite strict to an extent that it requires anyone who supervises to include qualification for supervisors, because we've noted the challenges that we've gone through anyone can supervise, but in this case we are saying we want a qualified person, if it is a registered engineer, an architect, a QS, or any other profession. It is a registered person who is being regulated, so that in case of any misconduct, professional misconduct, this professional is answerable to someone. Yeah, because we've also noted that most of the works also are not being supervised. The contractors, they're just left to do their own works, especially when it comes to labor contracts, for example. They just use anyone, as long as you understand something about construction. But we've seen a challenge on that, whereby we've had building failures or the failures in the structures. Citation and spaces around the building, it is updated with regards to the requirements and the space allocation. We will not in that when it comes to specific areas, there is a limited or a minimum requirements or a size of any given room depending on the function of it. When it comes to parking spaces also, in this one, it has also recognized the changes in technology. I know currently people are having electric vehicles, so in the building code there is a provision in parking areas, the provision for electric vehicle charging ports, so that people will not be disadvantaged in any way. Under preparation of construction sites, it also enhanced environmental protection and site preparation requirements. So when it comes to environmental protection during construction, this one is a bit elaborate. So that's something that should be looked at. When it comes to material also, I had already said it's more talked about the performance, also the quality of the material. Structural designs, it is also updated with loaded calculation and design requirements, spaces within the building, floors and walls, glazing, and all that. It has been elaborated, it is all expanded in the building code. The issues of inspection and maintenance, it also allows more rigorous inspection and maintenance protocol, because also we know that when it comes to maintenance of building, there has been no specific requirement that it requires us to maintain our building, but in this case, it has been included in the building code, said that it describes when and how maintenance can be done. Issues of non-waterborne and waste disposal is also updated standards. Refusal disposal, all the way to demolition of building and disaster risk management. All that has new guidelines for disaster risk management to improve safety. So generally, all of us, we are affected in this. All of us, we are responsible in this building code. Also the owner, the developer. Because when you are engaging an architect to design for you, he has to comply with the building code, which also, the owner also will be responsible for it.